Excuse me. That's a good way to start. Hey, I am Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches over at QueenBeeing.com. If you need any help with anything related to narcissism and how it affects your life, head over to QueenBeeing.com. Lots of info over there. Today, I want to talk a little about when you're trauma bonded, what you can do to help yourself, and how you can help yourself through the most incredibly painful and difficult ordeal in life of dealing with breaking those trauma bonds and getting yourself free from a toxic person, free from the pain that's caused by the relationship, and also the pain that's caused by wanting to go back to something you know isn't good for you, and the confusion that's related to it and all of that. So let's talk about that before we get started. If you need any help with anything regarding anything related, like I said, head over to queenbeeing.com. If you need coaching or group coaching, check out the description of every video. There's information on how to contact me. If you have questions about anything or you want to talk about a different topic, hit me up in the main comments and I will gladly talk about whatever it is that is on your mind or troubling you regarding narcissism and how it affects you. Hey, Christine. So let's get going. This is going to be a short sort of some steps to maybe start working toward releasing the horrible feelings, the horrible grips of trauma bonding. If you don't know what trauma bonding is, there are lots of videos on here as well as over on Angie's channel. Angie Atkinson has a ton, obviously, of information about trauma bonding. I have a ton of information about trauma bonding. We talk about it a lot on our videos together. So if you need information on what it is, please look it up here. I will do my best to get some links up for you in the description as well. In short, it is the bond we feel to someone who is abusive to us, to someone who has treated us in a way that is manipulative and controlling, and we feel like we love them so much we can't let go. It is literally feels like death to let go. It feels so gripping and so impossible to move beyond it to us, right? In the other videos, it'll explain why this happens and what it is, and I go into a lot of detail on mine, so check them out if you need them, if you don't know what trauma bonding is. If you do know what it is and you're in it and you're feeling it, let's just go with that today because I have limited time and I want to get some of this info out there. So the number one thing that helps when you're trauma bonded, and everyone will tell you this, and it's not what you're going to want to hear, is going no contact. If you can't go no contact, go low contact. And by low contact, it means need to know information only based on the reason you have to have contact with that toxic person. You're going to get all kinds of stuff back if you're low contact. You're low contact, say you have a child together. You're low contact, you're trauma bonded. You're like, I hate them, but I want them. I can't stand them, but I want them back. I don't even want them, but I want to know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And I want to understand them. You can't let go of the thinking about them when we're trauma bonded. Okay. So if you're low contact, every time you have interaction with them, it reignites these trauma bonds. It brings you right back into the cycle of thinking about them and not about your own life. It re-entangles you with these trauma bonds. So no contact, obviously, if you can, is the best way. Blocking, completely removing this person from your life. When you can't, because it's low contact, say you say something about your child like they need to be picked up from school early on Thursday for a dentist appointment. That's your day, just letting you know. They will respond often with either guilt tripping about how you treated them, about how they treated you. They'll bring you back to the relationship with them. They won't just say, got it, Thursday, 2:30, bam, done, right? They won't just reply to the thing. They will give you all kinds of hoovering all over the place in the form of guilting you, criticizing you, shaming you, blaming you, or love bombing you, apologizing, trying to get you to pretend be their friend, right? They'll do things like that that draw you back in. So when you got that going on in low contact, take a second before you reply. Look at what you wrote or what they wrote. Find the actual question in it that pertains to the child only. If there is nothing to reply to, don't reply. If there is something to reply to related to the child only, without any emotional response, answer that question only. Let the rest go. This helps you break these trauma bonds. This helps you disentangle from them having any importance in your emotional life. All right. So that's one tip if you have to stay low contact. But know that breaking these trauma bonds, just in general, it takes a leap of faith and trust in yourself that you can get through this. Look to others who have been through it. Look to others who have all over the place. But really, you've got someone right here who's been through it, that has done it, that no longer feels it, and know that it's possible. Take that leap of faith. It is literally an act of bravery that gets you from the feelings of terrible, gripping trauma bonds to being ready to work on it and move through it. Okay. And sometimes it takes a final blow, meaning hopefully not a real one. I don't want that. But sometimes it takes the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, right? The one thing that narcissist does, toxic person, whatever they are, does that gets you to see they are not who they claimed to be. And I don't want anything to do with that. I am done. Right. And sometimes it takes a while to get there. So have not only does it take those leaps of faith and those acts of bravery, sometimes it takes patience with yourself to get to the point of being ready to let go, to get to the point of being ready to see them for who they are, to accept what they are, to accept that they are literally what they are and they're nothing different. They're not the fantasy in your head of what you thought they were. It's not easy to get to this place for a lot of people. Some people get stuck in this very beginning of breaking trauma bonds, and just be gentle and kind to yourself. If you need help on this, please reach out, get in the support groups, either free groups on Facebook with our span groups, or check it out, the group page on QueenBeeing. We have all kinds of types of support out there, various kinds of support. If you need to talk to someone, we are here if you need it. There's also group coaching if you need it. It is awesome for this type of thing because you have others going through it with you. Okay. So just know that if you're in this beginning of like, I can't even start. I can't let go. I'm not ready to let go. That there's lots of people there with you having their own struggles, and it's possible. Okay. It's possible to get through it. So, what are you saying, Christine? I'm not sure I'm in a trauma bond. For me, it's not about like, what is he doing? Who's he with? It's more, is he okay? Yes. You're worried about him when you need to be focusing on your life. That's still bonded, right? And you're not bonded because of a healthy relationship. You're bonded because of the intermittent reinforcement he gave in that relationship which made you be his caretaker, which made you worry about him more than you worry about yourself, which made you, you know what I'm saying? So yes, it is not your fault because you left him. It's not your fault. He is responsible for the way he treated you in that relationship. He is responsible for the way he treated you in that relationship. None of it's your fault. This is how it is with, I can tell you're a survivor because of what you just said right there, right? Because people who survive this kind of thing, that's what they say. And which makes me think it's not your fault, right? Because a healthy relationship breakup, someone says, I can see where the relationship broke down. I can see where we both took part in this. I can see where, and it's much calmer and it's much less tumultuous for us going through it, right? You haven't succeeded in leaving yet. It's okay. You'll get there. If you're ready, when you're ready, you'll get there. You think 3 years after the discard, I'd be okay, but nope, from October, but not great. You know what? I don't think 3 years you'd be okay for everybody. Everybody's different, and we have to go with patience on our own timetable. Wow, losing my voice. Our own timetable, and be patient with ourselves, as well as keep pushing forward. Keep moving toward your own life. Find people to talk to, and different. If you're doing something and it's not working, do something different. Keep trying new things. So let me get to the tips here before I run out of time, because I have an appointment at 1:15. So I have like 15 or 13 so tips here. So let's just go through this. It's not that I don't want to talk to you guys, because I love talking to you guys. It's just that my time is weird today. It's still in your dreams. I suggest sprinkle glass to dream journal and start looking up. I like Jungian and dream analysis. Start looking up the psychological, deeper things that those dreams are trying to tell you. Sometimes you are trying to process in your dreams, And by worrying about the dreams, instead of processing, you're reigniting the thought loops. Does that make sense? And instead of just really digging in and processing them. So I suggest trying that. I actually find that extremely fun, but even though it's not fun, but it actually, you can find, well, yeah, if I knew you, I'd read one for you, but um, okay, so let's go on. One thing, I have some stuff written down. When you're trying to break these trauma bonds, acceptance that this relationship was toxic. Acceptance. That means, yep, that's it. Yep. That doesn't mean judging it yourself. That doesn't mean trying to reason with it. That doesn't mean understanding why it was toxic. It is pure acceptance. Sure, we need to understand the whys and whatnot, but some people get really stuck in the why. I have to tell more people in coaching than not, stop asking why. You know why. You know why. The why is keeping you there. Stop asking why and ask what and ask what now. Ask, depending on the situation. But doubt is going to creep in, and you're going to often have conflicted, what's called cognitive dissonance feelings. You're going to have amnesia sort of from it and not remember all the bad things. It's going to lead, this is normal. Acceptance that it was toxic, because you can look at the patterns. This is why we suggest writing down a list of all the things the person did that hurt you. It's not because we want you to have like a SH list, right? We want you to have a list that reminds you, oh yeah, this was toxic. It really truly was. It's self-validating, external validation coming from the internal place of you to yourself to remind you to accept that this was a toxic relationship. Okay. So it can help with the cognitive dissonance. A list can help, but understanding why you're making that list. You're making that list to accept. Well, one reason is to accept that what you lived through was toxic. We keep running away from it. Got to look at it. We have to see it for what it is. It's part of healing. Okay. Number two, which should be number one or could be number two, these two go hand in hand for competing for first place. Self-care. Okay. Self-care, we forget how, we don't know how, we never learn how, whatever it is, it goes out the window the second we get depressed, the second we get sad, the second we get hurt, all of that. Self-care is difficult for a lot of us. Okay. So some ideas, quick ideas. Nap. Go ahead. You're tired after this experience. Take a nap. Cry. Yep. Crying can be self-care. Eat. Just eat what you want. Don't eat to excess or whatever, but just take care of your body is what I'm saying. Nourish yourself. Talk it through with people. Talk to yourself. Talk into a recording and hear yourself saying these things that are hurting you. Go for a walk. Cuddle a pet or a stuffed animal or a pillow or yourself or a friend that is safe or a sister or a brother that gives you a hug. Whatever it is, if you have no one to do that, do it for yourself. Cuddling, touch, pet a pet. Scream into a pillow. Anything. What I like to have areas that are safe from bad feelings, like the shower, a nice hot shower where you can just close your eyes and feel the water and don't allow the negative thoughts in that shower. It's a safe place, right? Or, go on a walk and cry at the same time. Feels good. Anyway, find whatever it is that is self-care to you. And by that, I don't mean go get a manicure unless that is like the best thing in the world for you. I mean, find these little details throughout your day. Okay. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate the things you do for yourself. Simple, simple, simple. I understand it's very difficult when you're on yourself, Christine, and that's why, I have videos on self-care, so check them out if you haven't. And I'll do another one soon because I think this is why I'm revisiting this one, because it's an important one, because this is the place people get stuck, right? And it's where we need the most help often, is in this trauma bonded, how do you take care of yourself way. So there's a heck of a lot we could talk about with self-care, and let's try and do that maybe tomorrow. Okay, so number three, this is a form of self-care. but it is specific. Feel what you need to feel and allow the grief. Here we are allowing again and accepting. Okay. You got to nurture yourself through this. Figure out what nurtures you. Figure out if, even if it's just, I like the smell of lavender. That's okay. That's a good one. I like hot cocoa. Have the hot cocoa. Whatever. Give yourself some nurturing while you are grieving, the acceptance and the allowance of what you feel. We hide from our feelings with the whys, with the I don't understands, with the how could someone be that ways. We have to just accept it. They are that way. Okay. They're that way because their brains do not have the gray matter in the part of the brain that fires off when empathy and compassion are triggered. And therefore they have no empathy and therefore they are the way they are. So there's your why. Okay. There is no other, it's, they are that way, and you do feel what you feel. And it's okay. You're going to have conflicting feelings all over the place. Just write them out, write them through. Okay. Number 4, when you're trauma bonded, journal and get it out. If you are not in a position to be able to journal, find someone to talk to. If you don't like journaling, maybe talk into a voice recording or just getting it out, writing a letter and burning it. Whatever you need to do to get it out of you, to be heard, even if it's only being heard on paper, right? Okay. Find support. Number 5 here. Find support. It's important. Okay. Having people on your side, having people that got your back, that know what you've been through, who've been there. So, like on Facebook, our Spanily Facebook page, we've got several of those. We've got them for adult children of narcissists. We've got them for parenting, co-parenting with a narcissist. We've got it for the general group, which is really big and huge. And we're all over there. So you can find me over there and I'll chat with you if you need it. So finding coaching or a therapist. You're going to have 2 different experiences between coaching and therapy. And we can do another video on what the differences might be. But it's basically with coaching, you got someone who's been there, walked through it, and has training and how to help you, has some trauma training, has some, hopefully, find someone safe, find someone you trust, someone that resonates with you, that you feel like can get you. Okay. Because it's important to be heard and as an individual, right? Therapist, same thing. It can take trial and error to find someone who gets this stuff, but keep looking because they're out there. Validation, find the validation. Sometimes turning to friends, you're not going to find the validation. That's the problem. And that's why I'm suggesting these other means. Okay. Because we need the validation and the understanding. It's super important. Okay. Number 6, just know it gets better. You guys, it gets better. Okay. I'm not still trauma bonded. It's gone. Not at all. Could care less. Could care less. Okay. For real. It goes away. You heal from this as you move through it. And it did take a lot of introspection, of allowing, of the stuff I'm telling you I did, okay? So it's not like I'm telling you stuff I wouldn't try. And there's other things too that I haven't thought of, right? But this is what I see work for people, and it's not an overnight fix. So be patient and know it can get better. Bringing your focus, this is important. Bringing your focus back to your path, your life, yourself, your direction, you to build a life outside of a life with that person, even if you're still with them. So you can't get out for whatever reason and you have to stay in this situation. Say they are an aging parent and you are taking care of them and you're like, I can't, I have to be here. Find as much of your life going toward your own self, your own thoughts, your own joys, wants, desires, whatever it is. Build as much as your life as possible. And some ideas like learning to be present to yourself through meditation, through whatever it is, a means of being present and mindful. Okay, that can help. Exercise. Find an exercise routine that makes you feel good, whatever it is for you. Everyone's different, and exercise can help increase the serotonin, raise your serotonin. It can help lower your cortisol. It can help bring order and discipline to your life that you may need when things are a little crazy and out of control. And it can give you direction towards your own health. Okay. So, other ideas, like if you don't know what to do, look for classes, look for groups, look for interest groups, find a hobby, look for vacation ideas, go travel in your mind if you can't travel in your body, like looking at places that can be fun, research history. I know it's had a client once that was a history buff, and every time I reminded her, well, what era of history have you not studied that you'd like to? She'd get all excited and completely forget the narcissist for a few minutes, right? And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more of that for our brain to find new neural pathways for where to go when it is just sitting there idle, right? Instead of going into the loop of thinking about the toxic person. So, okay. Um Number 8, I know we talked about this in the beginning, but block that narcissist everywhere. Remove pictures of them off your phone. If you can't throw them away, stick them in a file you'll never look at and lock it. If they're physical pictures, lock them away in a box, throw them away, whatever you need to do. Get rid of reminders of them in your life. Get rid of the gifts they gave you. Get rid of change your decoration in your house, redecorate a room, whatever you need to do. Make it your own. Get rid of them, block them. If you can't, if you're obviously no contact now, okay? Going no contact and not blocking, sure, it can work. The chance of a Hoover's higher, and there is something about making the decision to not have that person in your life ever again, block, that feels, it's not vindictive, it feels like closing a door, which to me is better closure than getting a why, because their why is going to be a lie anyway. All right. So, number 9, understand why you have the urge to contact this person. Understand the trauma bonding. So, like I said, there's lots of videos out there on it that explain it very thoroughly. And understanding why you have this urge can logically help you stop. It's like understanding why you have an urge to smoke a cigarette when you're trying to quit, or have a drink if you're trying to quit alcohol and you're, addicted to it. It's like, it is literally like breaking an addiction. If you understand the urge, you can resist it, you can fight through it a little easier. Okay. Keep Number 10, keep your education on narcissism up so that you are learning the triggers of things, of and allowing the triggers of the things that you learn. Okay, so you're going to learn stuff. It's going to trigger you. You're going to learn things, and you're going to hear things. You're going to hear other people's stories. And it's going to trigger you. Allow those triggers because they're truths. They're truths. As you're learning and educating yourself, it can be really difficult. You don't want to look in the face of it. Okay, people look every which way as they're learning, and they don't want to. So look at it, see it for what it is, and again, acceptance. Um, yeah, it's really hard when you have kids, right? Um, Again, if you have children and you can't go no contact, or a business you share, property you share, whatever it is, keep the conversation. Just set the boundary, enforce the boundary, keep the boundary, and do not engage. Every time you engage, your brain goes into the loop again, hops back on that neural pathway, and starts writing it. So if you don't engage, it takes a minute to recover from the trigger. It takes a minute to recover from the interacting with them, but you do calm and you learn coping skills to not go back into that loop, and therefore breaking the trauma bond and making them a nuisance instead of someone you're trauma bonded to. Does that make sense? They're never going to not be a nuisance. They're never going to not be irritating to deal with, or infuriating to deal with, or triggering to deal with. But they don't have to be someone that you have this very strange feeling of cognitive dissonance for. Okay. Living in overwhelm is normal. Number 11, overwhelm is normal. It is normal to feel overwhelmed right now when you're trauma bonded. It is super normal. You're going to feel spacey and unmotivated, and like your energy's low, or hypervigilant and overactivated and unable to sit still. You're going to feel, it's overwhelming. Okay. Things that can help are lots of self-care, lots of talk, taking breaks from it. That's why I suggest to take a shower, and nothing vile, evil, wrong, or harmful, or hurtful, or sad, or depressing is allowed past these shower doors. And even if you can only get a 3-minute shower where you can hold on to that peace, just do it. Because Our brains need the break. Otherwise, we are running marathons without a break in between, one after the other, after the other, after the other, and you get exhausted. Okay. Um, you're welcome, Christine. Okay. Let's see. Oh, living in real time. We go into the past. Why did that happen? I remember when that happened. I remember. Then we project it into the future. It's going to happen again, right? Or it'll always be this way. There's parts to trauma, and there's a whole nother talk on that I don't have time for right now. So we'll just say that um, living in real time, being in the moment, I talked about mindfulness in the beginning, is grounding. It's grounding. It helps you realize that things pass, that time passes, things pass. It doesn't always have to be like this. You're not always going to feel trauma bonded. You are right now, and that's okay. We think that being in the present moment makes us feel the pain more, but actually, the weird thing about it is that it actually makes you feel calmer and more grounded, so that the pain you're in is just is. And then you move through it much quicker because you're not attached to it quite so. Does that make sense? And it's through experiencing and experimenting with that. So looking for things in your surroundings. These are ways to come into the present moment. Taking walks and noticing things, looking for things, looking for changes of season, looking for droplets of water. Like right now, I could be looking at droplets of water on the grass, or the way the grass goes squish if I walk on it because it's completely muddy out there, or the way the leaves are blowing because we're having a windstorm, or and hearing the sound of the wind in the trees. All of that brings you right now to here. Okay. And as I'm doing that, I'm not being here because I'm actually being here. Okay. So, all right. Notice the things and remind yourself to be in the moment. I'm right here, right now. I'm okay. Remind yourself you're safe in the moment if you are safe. Okay. And that it may hurt in your heart right now, but you're healing and you're moving towards something better. All right. Look, okay. So when you're opposite of that, of not thinking about them, you're going to think about them. Okay. I'm not saying avoid the thoughts of them. I'm saying that don't spend 24/7 being there if you can manage it. Looking for the hook, what you fear, what you've lost, why it's hard to let go. Looking for that personal hook, and this may be something best done with a coach or therapist to support you, or a good friend or someone that's been there, or within a group to talk it through. Um, Looking for the thing in yourself that hooked you. Why can't you let go? What are you afraid of? What actually hurts? Where, you know what I'm saying? Like, for every person it's different. For me it was fear, okay? And I couldn't figure out of what. It was fear of change. It had nothing to do with the person. I just don't like change. Oh, that makes it a heck of a lot easier to let go, doesn't it? When it isn't actually the thing you're afraid of isn't actually that, it's just change. Okay, so this is gonna be uncomfortable, is what I had to accept. This is going to feel like a whole lot of change and a whole lot of yuck for a little while. And I'm gonna feel like my feet aren't on the ground. And my head's gonna be up, all spaced out. It feels surreal. It feels very icky. And it's gonna be that way because I don't like change. And I can accept that and move through it. And does that make sense? So, you guys, those are some ideas when you're trauma bonded. You can see that this isn't simple. This isn't just out of sight, out of mind. This isn't wait out 3 weeks and hang on tight and it'll get better. For some people, it is. And for most of us, it is a little bit of work for on our side of things to get ourselves through it and know that there's support out there if you need it. There's lots of support out there. This is what I do every day. So I know there's support because I talk to lots of people who get it. So yeah, I guess that's it for right now. And I wish you all the best. I know that if you're watching this and watched it all the way through, that you're in something, right? And this isn't an easy time for you. So take care, be good to yourself, find the support you need, keep watching the videos, um, keep working on your life, not theirs. Let them go. Okay. These are toxic people that have hooked you. Unhook it. All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope. I like to do self care. I hope I can remember. I'm going to write it down. So, okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I wish you all the best. Let's see. Jack and the narc. Hello. I'd also say look at what it possibly could be without them and what stops you from reaching out in that direction. Yes. Uh-huh. I mean, there's a whole lot of ways, right? This is just 11 or 12 or whatever it was. There's a whole lot of ways. But yes. Oh, good. I'll see you later in group. Yes. I think that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.